Hi guys, welcome back to my channel CUBOTICS. Today we're going to be talking about Scratch coding. So as you can see, I have already opened up the website here. It's scratch.mit.edu. Basically, what Scratch helps you with is coding for students to make games, animations, stories, a lot more things that they can work on. So as you can see, they've really given the information regarding that also. You can just log on to the website. There is create, explore, ideas and about. I'm on about Scratch right now. So there's info for parents as well and for the educators. So if you log on to this, you can see Scratch is a programming language and an online community where children can program and share interactive media such as stories, games, and animation. Okay, so if you go to ideas, here is where you can choose your tutorial, you can get started, you have activity guides for kids, animate a name, imagine a world. So there are a lot of free tutorials already inbuilt in Scratch where students can go and start off. You have the explore phase as well, where you can see a lot of scratchers. The Scratch community has already made a lot of games, so you can click on any of them. Students can explore this to see what other scratchers are doing. What kind of games or what kind of animation other students all across the world are making. So this is a completely free platform, where you can share your ideas, your programs with the rest of the world, and the other scratchers or students do the same thing. So there are really nice projects that I've gone through and I've had a look at. So you can do the same thing. You just need to go in. It's completely free of cost. Just sign up. All you need is an email ID. They'll send you a link. Just click on that and you're ready to start programming in this. So when you click on create, you'll open up the page. As you can see, this is the page that is opened up, and it's important you get the share button here. If you can see this orange color share button, now what that enables you to do is share your project with the rest of the community. So basically, once you make a Scratch account, go to the email ID. You'll get an email ID from email from them. Click on that. That enables you to do sharing. So this kind of helps students to share and save their projects very easily. Okay, so just a quick rundown on what is on the Scratch is you can see on the left hand side top is the code. Now these all are symbols. Let me pull them out for you. And you got a plus sign here, you can make it big. So this is basically what you call symbolic programming, because the student doesn't need to type it out. He can directly drag and drop the code that are required. So what the student needs to work on is the logical sequencing of the code to get the desired output. Okay, so and they made it quite easy for students. It's recommended for students 8 plus, but I have students as young as 6 doing it. Now it completely varies from student to student. So you have something in the motion block, the looks block. As we go on, we'll understand more about it and when do we use which code. Okay, so we this is where all the codes are. Then next to code, you have something called costumes. If you click on costume, costumes is nothing but images for each sprite. Each sprite is like a character. So right now you can see this cat has two costumes, right? One, you can see the legs are wide apart, and the other one is like he's in a walking position. And the last thing is sounds. You can add sounds to it, music to your program. Okay, so let's start off with making a simple program. It's one of my the first program that I always start off with my students, because it's a fun program. It's they can actually make the game. It's quite easy to understand, and I highly recommend that parents sit with them and try making this program. Okay, so I'm going to just move this down here. Now the first thing whenever you want to make your program is, now this white blank space here where my mouse is where you actually write the codes, okay, that you get from the left hand side. And if you can see the cat here, this cat is your sprite. As you can see, it's written as sprite 1. Okay, just one second, let me move this a little. Yeah, so this is sprite 1, or it's your character. Now the students can choose from any character that they like. So first let's go ahead and delete this cat. So you can see that the cross here, you can just click on this and it'll delete and he's gone from you. Now here on the right hand side bottom, you have something called choose a sprite. So there's a lot of things you can choose a sprite that's already from the library that Scratch has. You can also paint it. You can, when you click surprise, some random sprite will come onto your screen, and you can go upload. Upload means you can get it from the internet. So today let's just go and choose a sprite that's already there in the library. Okay, so they've kind of made it easy. You can see that they have a lot of sprites or characters that you can choose from. They've actually made it easy by even having subheadings for them, like animals, people. So let's go to people and choose a character first. Let's see, or we can go to sports also. Yeah, and let's pick Casey. If you can see, if I pick Casey, he comes up onto the screen. Now this, the white part here is called the backdrop, and this character is called a sprite. So we got a character, we got a sprite. Now let's go and choose a backdrop. So the same way that we had choose a sprite, on the right hand side here, we can see you have choose a backdrop. So let's click on that, and let's go and give. So again, you can get creative. You can let the student uh, select what he wants, because so I'm going to select let's go to colorful city. Okay, so you can see that's Casey in a colorful city. So now today what the object is that to make a simple game that enables Casey, our character, to catch an apple that is falling from the sky. Every time he catches an apple, he gets a point. If he drops an apple, the game goes over. So it's a really nice game for the students to start off with, to understand the basics of Scratch. Now, what we've done currently is we've just selected a character, that's Casey, and we selected a backdrop for the same. Now, what I would like to do is, as you can see, I would first want to control Casey. That means he should be able to go left and right. Okay, so how we're going to do that is, we're going to control him with the keyboard. So now whenever you start programming, you go to events, which is your left hand side block, and you take a when flag click. Now when flag clicked is like a start button for Scratch, because if you can see my mouse, it's right here, there's a go button, and next to that is stop. So it's like when flag clicked is you're kind of writing that it's a start button. Okay, now below that, what I would like to do is I would like to take a go to control and take a if then statement. So an if then statement is called a control statement. As you can see on the top left hand side, it's a control statement. It's a conditional statement. If we do something, then something will happen. Okay, so we need to fill up two gaps between if and then, and the gap here in the center. So the first thing here we're going to put is a current condition. So we'll go to sensing. From sensing, we'll take this key space press. Now this key space press is basically, make it a little small, is the keyboard, your space keyboard on your space bar on your keyboard. So if you press the down arrow here, we can select right arrow. So this is the right arrow on your keyboard. So I'm going to select the right arrow on my keyboard. So I'm saying if the right arrow is pressed, then I need to put something here, right? So how do we do that? Let's put it, go to motion, because we want Casey to move. So I'm going to say move 10 steps. Okay, so if I press the right arrow, Casey is going to move 10 steps. So if I press this go button and I try pressing the right, you guys will see nothing will happen, because what happens is a computer executes this one time and it checks that did you press the right arrow, and if in case you haven't, it will not execute it. What we need to do is to continuously keep checking that am I pressing the right arrow. Okay, so it's very important you guys put this, take a forever and put this around a forever. Now whenever you press the right arrow, Casey will be moving to the, because it's moved 10 steps, he'll move to the right. So just to show you, now I'm actually pressing the keyboard and he moves right. Okay, so that's how we get Casey moving to the right. Now very similarly, I would like him to move to the left. So all you can very easily do is take your mouse on this when flag click. You can duplicate it. If you right click, you get a duplicate, and you can take this below. Now obviously you guys can see that I have the same thing. I have a right arrow here and a right arrow here. So what I'm going to do is select the left arrow here. But the computer won't understand, because for the same thing, it's here it's also moved 10 steps, here it's also moved 10. So just remember guys, when you want to move right, it's a positive number. When you want to move left, it's a negative number. So just go here and make the 10 into minus 10. So you can see, just to show you guys, let me first move this around so you guys can see that. Yeah, you guys can see that I have made this minus 10. Now what this has enabled me to do is, if I press the green flag, now if I press right, you can see he's going right, and if I'm pressing left, he's going left. So this way I can have Casey moving with my keyboard. Now in case you want to see this in the big screen also, you can see that we've got three images. This is the full screen option. If you click on this, you get full screen control. Click this back, and you also have a small screen. So in case you want to write more of the code, you need more space to write your code, you can select, and this is for back to the medium size. So it depends however you want to do. Now I'm going to stop it. Now like I told you, the next thing I want is apples falling from the sky, right? From the top. So let's go select choose another sprite, because we're done programming Casey. That's all we require Casey to do right now. So let's choose an apple. You guys can see, you can choose anything. You can choose an apple, you can choose a ball, whatever the student enjoys it. I always say let the student make that choice, and here's your apple. Now we have something to control the size. If you find the apple is too big, you have here size. It's 100. 100 is the actual size that you have. So I am going to type in 50, and if I press enter, you can see the apple has become smaller here. Okay, now the first thing I want is my apple to fall from all the way on, start from here and fall. This I'm moving it with the mouse just to show you, to fall down. Okay, and this should happen randomly. I mean, it should start from here and fall down here and randomly fall. So the first thing we need to do is place an apple on the top. So use your mouse, take this and put it right on the top wherever you would like to start. Okay, and again, like I told you, take the when flag clicked. Yeah, there's a plus sign here just to make it bigger so you guys can see a little easier. Okay, now the first thing we want to is for the apple to start on the top. Now, so it's very important to know where the position of the apple is, right? So if you look here, there's an X and a Y. The X is 7 and the Y is 162. So this is the X and Y coordinates of the apple. Now what Scratch does really well for us, it automatically gives us the position. So I don't have to figure it out. Now for example, if I move my apple here, you guys can see that X is minus 157 and Y is 95. Wherever you move it, you guys can try this as well. Wherever you move it, the position of X and Y changes, because that's a new position that we have. So I'm going to take this up here, back here. Okay, and you can see it's minus 1 and 163. So I would like my apple to start from there. So we go to motion, click on the blue ball here, and go to X minus 1 and 163. This auto populates, means whatever the position your X and Y is, it automatically comes here. So I don't have to bother about it. You know, that I don't have to manually type it. Now I want this to fall down. So let's hold the mouse, apple, and take it down with the mouse and place it here. Now I want the apple to start from the top. So this go to was my starting position, and now I want it to come all the way down. So we're going to go on back to the left to motion block, and we're going to take this glide 1 second. Okay, I'll just make this. So you can see again the position X and Y. You can see X is 10 and Y is minus 162 has come automatically, because I moved the apple down. It auto populates, means it automatically fills up. So just to show you, when I press the play, yeah, I'll make it big screen so you guys can see. You can see the apple is falling from top to bottom. Okay, now what controls the speed of the apple? So if you see this glide 1 second, so it's currently taking 1 second from start from the top to the bottom. So just to show you, if I make this 3 seconds, now what it's going to do is going to take 3 seconds to cover the same distance. So obviously it's taking longer time, so it will be slower. So I'll press stop and I'll press play. As you guys can see that this is now taking longer to come from up and down. So you can experiment with this also. You can increase the time. You can actually put it in decimals also. Like if I put 0.5, you'll see it's half a second, so it'll be a lot faster. Look. So this is something you guys can change in your game. So depending what speed you want to keep the game in. Do you want the game to be hard? Do you want the game to be easy? Do you want the game to be slow? So accordingly you can do this. Okay, and then again you can do is you can take a forever from control and just put it around it. So what will happen is the apple will keep falling. It will come on top, it will go down. Okay, now what is the next thing we want to do, guys? Right, we've done the apple that starts from the top, and we want and it glides all the way below. Now what we want to do is basically I want Casey, when he touches it, the apple should disappear. So I know that Casey is actually touched it, right? Because right now if you guys see, the apple goes right through Casey. Look, even if Casey touches it, it's not happening. So let's write that program. So we're going to take another when flag clicked. Okay. For the apple, I'm yet in the apple sprite. How do I come to know? You can see that the apple image is here. If you're going to KC, you will see KC's image is here. Okay, I'm going to take another when flag clicked, and I'm going to go back to control because I need a condition. Why a condition? Because if I touch KC, the apple should disappear. So this is called a conditional statement, or you can get it from control. So you take an if then here. Now, like I told you guys, we need to fill up what? We need to fill this up and we need to fill this up. This normally fills up with sensing or an operator, and this you can fill it up with looks or motion or whatever you want to do. So what do we want to do if the apple is touching casing? So I want to put touching here, right? If the apple touches casing. So where do I get that? From sensing. So you can see touching mouse pointer. I take a touching mouse pointer. Okay. Now there's a down arrow here. I click the down arrow and I select KC. Now this means if apple is touching KC, what do I want it to do? I want it to hide. So I will go to looks here. You can see the purple block. Scroll all the way down and you will see hide and show. So I want this to hide. Okay, now again just to show you, if I press play, okay, I'm just going to make this a little slow so you guys can see the apple easy. I'm just going to put it to 3 seconds maybe. I'll just increase. Now you can see that the apple is actually going through KC, yet nothing is happening because I put that. Now why that is? Because like I told you guys, whenever you have a control statement, you need to put a forever because it needs to keep checking that has KC touched the apple, right guys? So you need to forever keep checking. Now just check. I'll make this big screen. You can see the apple. Now if I don't touch the apple, it goes through. But let's say if I take KC and you can see the apple has disappeared and stopped coming because we've hidden it, right? So, but I would like this game to go on and on and on, right? So if I've written a hide here, I need to make it show again. So where do I need to make it show? At the top again because it hides here, so it needs to come back on top. So this go to x minus 1, y 163 is my starting point. So let's go to looks and put a show here. So if you touch KC, it hides, but whenever it goes back to the top, it will show again. So let's try it out. So you can see, yeah, I touched it, and if I don't touch it, the apple will go all the way to the bottom and start again on the top. So now this has got the basics of my game going, but obviously we don't want to stop at this much, right? We got to we like to have a scoring system and a game over, right? This is one of the basics of a game always has a scoring system and a game over. But first let's make it a little fun. Let's add a sound so that I know I touch it. So you can go to sounds here, if you can see. And you can see there's already a play sound chomp. Now why this sound chomp is there is because for the simple fact it's an apple. So when you change your sprite, you may get different sounds. You can also import sounds from the internet. You can get it from the library, but I'll go on to that in another tutorial. So you can just take a play sound chomp. Okay, and you can play sound chomp. So I think you guys should be able to hear that when I, yeah. So you can see that so this way, it not only hides, but I also come to know that I've actually touched it because I've heard the chomping sound like when you eat an apple. Okay. Now what we like to do is, this is quite boring in terms of because you can see that my apple starts and falls from the same place. There's nothing much. Even if I don't move KC, I leave him there all the time. It kind of does the same thing. Now the next thing I would like to do is, I would like that the apple starts from anywhere on the top and falls anywhere below. Okay, so just to explain that to you, I'm going to just change my backdrop. I'll go back here to choose the backdrop. Yep, and I'm going to choose something called an XY grid. It's there in the backdrop. Now why I'm selecting this is just to show you my X and Y grid. Now all the students is supposed to know at this point is that if he's on the center, the X is 0 and the Y is 0. If he's on the left, the X is minus 240 and on the right, X is 240. So you can see that my X ranges from minus 240 here to 240 on the right hand side. Yeah, and on the center is 0. Let's leave the Y at the moment. We don't need it. So what I would like to do is fall from anywhere minus 240 to 240. So how you can do that is very easily. We'll make this small again. Now we want to change this x. Here it is -1 and 10. So what happens, just to show you guys, if I change this number, you can see that my position of the apple changes. So if I put, for example, 100, it will start on the right hand side. See, if I make this -100, sorry, that's 1100, it will start on the left hand side. So this x is what controls the left and right position of the apple. So what we do is we go to operator, and you have something called pick random. So you take this pick random and you put it in the x, okay, and you put it here also below in the x. Okay, so you can put here -240, because we know it's extreme left is -240 and the right is 240. Same thing, you put -240 and on the right you put 240. Okay, now what this will do, the computer will randomly select an x position from left to right and drop it down to another random position left to right. So let's play this, and you can see that it's starting from anywhere and it'll fall anywhere. So this makes my game a little more interesting, and for the student to play, and for, if he wants to share it also with one of his friends. Okay, so this is the easiest way that you can do this. There is another complex way, but I won't get into that right now. But this is an easy way where you can actually randomize your position. Now the other thing, like I told you guys, is what we want to do is a scoring system. A scoring system is basically every time you catch an apple, I would like a point to increase. So we need to create something called a variable. A variable is something that keeps changing, right? It's unlike a constant. A constant is something that never changes its value. A variable is something that will keep changing its value. So on the left hand side below operator, if you see, you have something called variable. Yeah, so click on variable and you got to make a variable. So let's make a variable and we'll give it a name called score. Okay, I'll put it in caps, SCO, or you can write point. This doesn't matter, whatever name you give it, it's for your reference, for you to understand. Okay, so and you can see points is come here 0. But obviously, if I play this game, nothing will happen. It just created the variable. Nothing is going to happen, right? So now the first thing we do is every time we press the flag button, I would like the variable to start from 0, because every time you play a game, right, the score starts from 0, right? So how do we do that is you can come here when flag click, and you can take set. Just remember guys to keep it outside the forever, because if you keep it inside the forever, it'll keep setting the score to 0. So take this below the when flag click, and you can see my variable, press the down here and points to 0. So what I've done is every time you press this flag button, the points will set to 0. Now what I would like is that every time KC touches this apple, I would like to increase my points by 1. So simply change my variable, okay, change point by 1. So what happens if I touch KC? If the apple touches KC, it'll hide. It'll play this sound chomp, which you already. It'll also change the point by 1. So let's try this out. So you can see when the game starts is 0. You can see it's increased to 1. Yep. So you can see my points are increasing here. You can see 3, 4. Okay. Just to show you again, now if I press the green flag, there's the go button, it's again back to 0. So this helps it set it back. So you got to do both the things. So whenever you make a variable, guys, remember to set it and change it. These are the most two important things. A lot of the students don't forget to set it. A lot of the students forget and they don't put this in the correct place. They sometimes keep it outside the loop. So I'll just show you what happens if you put it outside the loop. So it'll forever keep changing it by 1. Look. So it's very important when you make a variable or you even do any kind of programming is you have to put it correctly. So that's why the logical part of it comes. It's not only when you make a program, if it's not in the correct sequence, your program, it doesn't work. So a lot of students say, so I followed exactly what you did. Oh, I've done, but they've always probably kept it in the wrong position. So that's one of the things you guys should look out for. Okay, so like you can see, I just put it outside the loop. Look, you can see it completely going, it's increasing to a really high number. So this has to go back here. Okay, I'll go back and change my backdrop like I told you guys. Yeah, I was back in a colorful setting. Yeah, and my game is fine. Now the last thing I would like to do in my game is I would like to have a game over, right? So how would we like to have this game over? Is when the apple touches the base, like the ground, my game should get over. Now, yeah, that would be fine. So as you can see that every time I touch, my apple increases by, the score increases by 1. So when the apple touches on the ground, the game should stop. Okay, so how do we do that? It's let's go choose another sprite. Okay, you can go and search for it. You got the option of search here. I'm just going to click on this and I'm going to put line, Line. So you can see a red color line is, and a red color line has come up here. So I'm going to hold this line and I'm going to take it at the bottom. Yeah. So it looked like, yeah, I'm dragging this with my mouse. You can take Casey and put it a little up. So you can see now I have a red color line. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say that if this apple touches the red line, my game should stop. So you can go to the line program. Okay, I'm inside the line because you can see here and it's completely empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a when flag click. Again, I have a condition, right? If apple touches line, the game should. So again, I go back to control and I take a if then. Yep. So an if then is, and what do we need to put? We need to fill this, right? Between this if and then, right? So the first thing I need to do touching here. So I need a sensing and I take again a mouse pointer the same way and I'll make this small so you guys can see that. Yeah, and I'll press down and I'll say apple. So it doesn't matter, right? If the apple touches the line or the line touches the apple, as long as they touch each other, the game should stop. So if the apple is touching the line, we go to control back because we get the, and we take a stop all. And let's play this game. So you can see that my, now let the apple touch the line and you can see the game doesn't stop. Now why that is a lot of students keep making this mistake is they forget the forever. So whenever you guys, because it needs to keep checking. What happens when you play this game, it just, as soon as you press the play button, it checks if the line has touched the apple and that's it. It never checks it again. Because why that is, as soon as the apple falls, the first thing it does is tries to check, But if that condition is not satisfied, it doesn't check it again. So we need to put it in a forever because I want to keep checking that. Have you ever had the apple ever touch the line? So you can see here, I'm going to play the game now and I'm going to move away from Casey. Yeah, and you can see the apple is here and my game is stopped. So I play again, I press again and I'm back to playing. Yeah, this time we won't touch it. Yeah, and you can see that the game works fine. Now the last thing you guys can try is, as you can see that the red line here, yeah, it kind of stands out. You can try matching it to the, the road that is this color. So how do you do that? Is you go to the line. Okay, I'm the line sprite, and you can see costumes here. Okay, so when I click on costumes, I have this option. You can see the red line here. Now I want to change it to the color of the road. So how do I do that? Let's go to the backdrop. So below stage is, make this big. Yeah, below stage is backdrops. So click on this backdrop and you'll come to an empty page here and here instead of costumes you'll get backdrops. So click on backdrops here and you can see that I have, I have so many because I selected an ID selected, but I can cross this out also. So that doesn't matter. You just select it, cross it out. Now I want this color, which I want the road color. So you can select, this is a fill option. Click here. Okay, and this is a select button. So just click on this. When you do this, you get a kind of a circle. So you can move it around and select this color. Now I've actually, you can see on fill, it's this color has been selected. Now what do? I go back to line. Okay, and I just, if I move my mouse on it, you can see it's red. If I move my mouse, it'll turn to that color. And that's it. Now you guys can see that I can't even see the red line. It's kind of disappeared. But it'll yet work. Just to show you. There. You can see it works. So this is a simple game that you can play in Scratch. Obviously, like I said, you can go to Apple and you can change the speed of this. If the student finds it very easy, you can see. So you can challenge yourself to play this game. You press play and you can try moving left and right. So yeah, so you can change the glide because that 1 second controls the speed of the rate at which the apple falls down. So this is a simple game that you can make in Scratch. I do recommend trying it. So this is what Scratch actually is about. So with this you can actually make more complex games that we'll be learning in further tutorial. You can make animations, you can make stories. This is a great platform for students to express themselves, share their ideas. Now this is highly recommended for students. If I would personally tell you, always start coding with this because the student doesn't have to worry about typing in the codes at the moment. Because young kids find really hard, like if you're going to type in Java or when you use code.org, I'll show you one of those videos also. But in that, it's a mixture of you can type in as well as you can do symbolic. Now this is really easy, very streamlined for students. They just have to wrap their head around the logical sequencing of that. That's the tough part. But a lot of kids that young as 6 and 7 have been able to pick this up quite easily and go. But yeah, it requires a lot of practice and I highly recommend that. So give this a try. If you guys like the video, just like the video or subscribe to it. I'll be putting out more videos whenever I get a chance to make it. And I hope you enjoy this one. Thanks guys. Bye.